Hello and welcome to a very short video about comparing characters in Python. So today we're going to explore how to compare characters together. Characters in Python are compared based on their underlying numeric values, and that's called Unicode values. So Python uses the Unicode standard, which is an international encoding system that assigns a unique number to every single character. And the first 128 characters in Unicode are the same as the ASCII characters, which include letters, digits, and symbols that are commonly used in English. And ASCII stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. I'm reading that from somewhere because I did not memorize that. But here's what the ASCII table looks like. And you can Google this, and I highly recommend that you do, and you take a look here. So notice that we have A has a decimal value of 97, and I'm looking at the decimal values because when we compare characters in Python, this is what we're going to look at. So we're going to look at the character and we're going to look at the decimal value. And B, 98, C, 99. So let's go ahead and get into the comparison. And I've heard some complaints about REPL not letting you have more than like 3 or 5 REPLs. I'm so sorry about that. That must have been a new change. So go to module 1 in week 1. That will cover how to install PyCharm, and PyCharm is a local IDE that you can use. And in the next video, I'll go ahead and I'll use PyCharm instead of REPL so that you can see how that looks. But I'm going to go ahead and start by creating 2 characters, character 1, and we're going to set that equal to A, and character 2, and we're going to set that equal to B. And I'm using characters, so notice that instead of putting these in the double quotes, I'm just using single quotes because they're characters. So that's that data type. And then I want to print char1, is it equal to char2? And this is another way that you can do comparison. I'll go ahead and I won't do it that way because I haven't taught you that way yet, but now that you've seen it, you know that it's a shorthand. So if char1, so spoiler alert, that was shorthand. Char2, then I want you to print these characters are the same. Explanation point, because it's kind of exciting. Else, we're going to print these characters are different. Okay? So I want you to take a look, and based on the information that I gave you before, let's look at what we have here. A has a decimal value of 97 and B has a decimal value of 98. So we already know that the the if statement isn't going to happen. So it's going to print the else. So I'm going to run this, and it says the characters are different. So if I set them equal to each other, if I change character 2 to A, then it says these characters are the same. And what about strings, right? Let's see, string 1 is equal to Python 1, and string 2 is equal to, should we say, what's another coding language? C++. Okay, so just Python and then C++. So let's go ahead and compare. Let's check if character 1 is greater than character 2. Else, these characters are different. We're going to say these characters are the same. Let's say character 1 greater than character 2. Or string 1. I'm going to have to change that. See? Greater than string 2. I was going to say, yeah, these kinds of mistakes are very common, but they're very easy to fix as well. So here we go. That's That's better. It's always better when the code runs without an error. And then if not, we're going to say and then let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so if string 1 is greater than string 2, we're going to print string 1 is greater than string 2. Else, so for any other condition, string 2 is going to be greater than string 1. Oh, I just thought of something. How about we put this, right? Greater than or equal to. So we can see if there's any comparison. We could do any number of things. Let's just do this. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. So I'm going to run that. String 1 is greater than string 2. So Python is greater than C++. So what's going on here? So what's happening is it's taking the characters of the string and it's comparing them letter by letter. So P, C, and then let's see. So P is actually capital P. Capital P has a different ASCII value. So capital P is 80 and capital C is 67. So it's clear why this changed. But what if we have characters that are extremely similar? We'll say Python 2, we'll say Python 3. So these two are extremely similar. And in this case, we're going to say, well, let's check if they're the same. String 1, the same as string 2. Let's check if they're the same. String 2 is not the same as string 1. Okay, so these look pretty similar. So let's see what's going to happen. And when I run it, string 2 is not the same as string 1. And that's pretty obvious because there's a 3 here and there's a 2 here. And so what's happening is this is comparing character by character. All right, P is that's the same. Y, that's the same. T, that's the same. H, that's the same. And then it gets to this 3 and this 2, and the 3 is greater than the 2. So we can look at it in here. 3 is greater than 2, so it's going to, let me check my numbers here, 51, so decimal value 51, and 2 is decimal value 50 in the ASCII table. And so that's why that result happens. So in the next video, we're going to examine a couple of functions that are going to be useful for comparing strings and characters together. And I'm going to do that in PyCharm. So you're not going to see REPL, you're going to see PyCharm. All right, thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day.